they built hospitals, they expanded the rail networks, they built new trains, they bought new buses, they expanded agriculture. Every district had a district farm institute, education was fully free except for primary and O-level. Primary and O-level education, which was not free, was substantially subsidized. The amount of money government was paying for subsidy for primary education is maybe 3 times more than what NRA pays today in the name of UPE. And yet at the time, the subsidy for children, but scholastic materials were there, teachers were highly paid, education quality was top-notch. Can I go on?
We don't have time.
You see?
I don't have time. In 30 seconds.
My brother. Yes.
In 30 seconds.
Yes.
This service delivery shows that the people were very happy with your government. People were with you.
Yes.
How come you lost power, Ochieno?
I'll explain in 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
First time.
Yes, Andrew Irumba Live with Andrew Irumba Katusale, your speaker. This morning of Wednesday, I get an opportunity to host my elder brother, Comrade Joseph Ochieno Pintek. Pintek is the national spokes, or the permanent spokes for the Milton Obote, the former president of Uganda, and the former chairman of UPC, Uganda, the former president of UPC, Uganda People's Congress. Now he's speaking for the Milton Obote idea. Since the owner died, now he says he's speaking for the idea. Mr. Pintek, you can as well greet our viewers.
Good morning and hello to our viewers. All our viewers know that you're very smart today.
Are you sure?
You're always smart.
Yeah.
I normally put on suits,
You've been,
but not as smart as you are today.
I have realized you thought I didn't have them. And you thought red color wouldn't be good on me, so
By the way, that is fantastic.
I have challenged you.
That's impressive. I need to look for my bow tie.
But then I'm going to unleash my whole wardrobe to you.
So long as there's nothing.
I've been showing you Pan-African dress code.
So long as there's nothing yellow in it.
When I was putting on Pan-African dress code, you thought I didn't know about this. So now I will show you.
Interestingly, talking dress codes, we are not conflicted at all as Pan-Africans. In London, during the May month, when we would normally be very busy with the African liberation support campaigns and Africa Day, we would have Africans from West Africa predominantly, and then Africans, those of us from the East here, some Southern Africans, occasionally Horn, and then Africans from the diaspora, meaning Africans from the Caribbean, who contemporarily would have moved, and then Africans who will have been born and grown maybe one parent, one generation later, and they consider themselves, say, African British. Usually then the issue would be who's more African than the other. Very sad. But of particular interest would also be when we begin to discuss, or people then begin to judge you on the basis of how you dress. I think it's a very misleading thing and it's diversionary. I went to an event in Brixton, South London, where I had come from work. Turns out it was actually Wednesday.
Should we serve you a coffee as you're here?
What do you think?
We can serve you a coffee.
Thank you.
But the other very expensive eats you can eat after the show.
Yeah, I can have the tea.
Spanish omelette, the full buffet breakfast.
Yes,
That's when you can eat
now that
after.
I've hit of age, it means that I need to not be too hungry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because of your coming, for the meantime you can be taking your tea.
Yes. So you're very kind. No, you've always been very generous.
Then the other full buffet you can eat after.
If anybody knows about Fort Portal, and a citizen from the tourism city. He's a good citizen, so I'm in good hands with you. But you should also know that while you're enjoying those mountains, the one of Tororo is called Tororo Rock, and it's not bad. So take it there.
There is Toro Rock and Tororo Rock.
You know, we are
Almost the same.
we're very particular. Yeah, we have a special relationship. You know, how are we going to celebrate this? You know, do these people do they have honey? I think they have honey. They have honey. They have honey. Is
They
it
don't
honey?
take hot brown water. You don't
Is it honey from? No, that is milk.
You don't take, cannot come from Torah and a boil hot water, you put additives and sugar.
Are you abusing me?
Then you call it tea.
Are you abusing me? They're saying those of us who cannot, who are not taking milk, what? We also have cows, man.
Your cows were stolen, you said the regime stole your cows.
But they were the NR guys, Mr. Museveni.
Now you see.
When they were paying
Now
back
you
our
see, I'm
cows,
reminding you now.
this guy stole our cows in Tororo, stole our cows particularly in Teso, Lang and Acholi. But Lang and Acholi, the theft was extremely terrible. Shame on these guys, man.
So, Mr. Ochieno, has been a week, what has caught your attention? In the news, what has been...
Before I tell you what caught my eye, I want to complete the story about the dress code. So our friends say that if they immediately see you in a suit, you're not African enough. And in that time I was particularly uncomfortable because I was the one most suited. I think a couple other people with suits, but I was the most prominent person in a suit. But I had come from my local government public office, for which I was a senior local government officer, and the dress code was suit, you know? Now, to then go ahead and judge my Africanness and commitment
Because
on
of
the best of my dress code was wrong. Anyway, the person was one of these Waizeka African friends of ours, brothers of ours. But actually, I'll write about his name somewhere in one of my
Who is
books.
that?
You don't know him. He's an African. He's a very intellectual African who studied in Russia, very radically Pan-Africanist. But
Who is that?
one of the names was, he was of Ghanaian origin. An elder now teaches one of the universities in UK. Now, Kwame Nkrumah.
You're talking Pan-Africanism now.
Yes.
When you say Kwame Nkrumah, I now switch the armor
So
to
you
Pan-Africanism.
mean me when I was talking, I was sending you asleep?
No.
Trust me, my brother.
I switch the armor.
Amen.
Yeah. From the usual politics of UPC being the best party in Uganda to now real Pan-African. So continue. Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana.
Because UPC is the party
That's
of
why you
the
still
Republic of the future.
That's why you
So, Kwame Nkrumah, in terms of criteria, people put him up there from mainland Pan-Africanism. But he himself also followed the others from global Pan-Africanism movement that started in the early 1990s, and the predominant diasporan Africans, who started with the agenda of program for Pan-Africanism. So, this guy is put on suits and very comfortable in it. So you see Nkrumah in suits, Nkrumah in African attire, and also Nkrumah the way you're very generous, sorting out my tie in the open neck style. Julius Nyerere suits, but then of course then they came down to the other which was coming to the counter staff. Mildred Obote predominantly put on suits. Patrice Lumumba predominantly put on suits. But these were brain masters.
You add Martin Luther King Jr. Add Malcolm X.
In fact, I would say Martin Luther King less from the Pan-African agenda. But Malcolm X, particularly, between the two of them, Malcolm X was the more radical Pan-Africanist. So you'd imagine that actually the position he took would mean that possibly he would even be throwing away Western suits. But they're basically merely dress codes and dresses.
And so it's important that we don't lose the message.
The gist of the matter.
Yes.
The
The
gist
focus
is,
is
the gist
ideology,
is ideological clarity.
clarity,
No,
and translating that ideological positioning to the realities of African unity, the emancipation of African peoples, African identity, African independence, and then Africa's future contextually. Yes.
Very good. Nice. Okay, let's come back to Kampala. Now,
Kampala, you want to confine with Kampala? Pan-Africans don't confine with
no. On Monday,
The tea is not bad, but
it's good. It's always good.
is
And,
this
and I've served you Toro honey. This honey comes from Toro.
I'm not sure.
It comes from Toro.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and coffee.
Ururota.
Okay. On Monday, you're supposed to have a show in the evening on digital. Yeah? What happened? When I say
On
you,
Sunday?
when I say you were supposed to have it,
On
you
Sunday,
did, you did not have
I
it.
have a program which had been dedicated to me by Digital. It was called the Hotline Show. Kiza Besiji had a program there, dedicated. Grigori Mugishamuntu also had one. I don't know what happened to Grigorius, but I think he also had a dedicated show there. Then I had mine. Then over a period of time, I was joined and became joint panelists with Comrade Paula Witch of NRA.
Which part of my elder in Pan-Africanism?
And then the show brought in, and so from a pan of two, the panel started include third parties, and you have been
I have been
there several times,
yes, several.
and very happy and always very glad to have you as part of the panel.
Thank you, sir.
So usually that program has huge issues with power, thanks to the NRA's incompetence when it comes to infrastructure. So I got a notice about the possibility of this not happening about power. So I thought it was basically merely not power. Turns out that, as I understand it, Norman, the program director, and who also happens to be the person who hosts the show, was unavailable. It happens that on Sunday, one of the journalists apparently had been in another program, and I didn't know this, had been picked by security services. It was not until I saw on social media a video of this word drone, where this drone thing comes from. The drones should go ahead and sort themselves out in war front in Iran, where some people are busy pulling others there than calling vehicles in the streets of Kampala drones. But so there was this vehicle, a drone, UA something, and quite clearly, very, very rudely combat ready, clearly dressed up soldiers, so there was a member of security services on the premises of Norman's. I got very concerned, but at the same time I had sent a note to Norman to check on him general as a matter of courtesy, and there's no response. And today, as I understand it, there's an incident around him which is now in hiding, and then there's an incident involving the other journalists. I don't know the latest. You're an investigative journalist, so maybe you have more information. And considering what's been happening recently, I don't know who to contact, I don't know who to ask. It's extremely unfortunate that in 2026, what we thought we had let go with Idi Amin in 1976, 77, 78, and the early part of 1979. It's what we need to look at.
You know, I'm not just a journalist, that matter, online, but I'm also a leader in the online. Are you aware that I'm the president of Independent Online Journalists Association? There's an association called Gov't.
No, could you repeat that, please?
Independent Online Journalists Association. It's an association that manages online media, online journalists, professional ones, like the likes of Mbisa and the digital professional platform. Those ones fall under my association, under our association.
Yes.
Not mine. But so this pains me twice.
So
It's a double-sworded attack. One is that I'm by the virtue of my office,
yeah,
I'm supposed to safeguard
yeah.
the online space. You get it? But then I'm also a journalist. So these are my colleagues. And the reasons why they could be in trouble are the very reasons that tomorrow it could also be in trouble. They have not raped any woman. They have not stolen anybody. They have not killed anybody. They are being witch hunted because of doing what they were trained to do. I think we have gone into so much trouble that now, when you speak, you are more dangerous than somebody who has stolen 100 billion shillings taxpayers' money. That person can get paid. There is a journalist who spent was how many months? This one of TV10. You must have heard about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
TV10, Ganomazima. Deal was the amount of time he spent in prison for writing and giving uncomfortable times to what he believes were people being corrupt in the offices. The amount of time he spent in prison is more than the time some corrupt officials have spent in prison. Today the Mabate thieves are at large. They're out and about.
No,
Mabate thieves.
no, they're very busy. Cabinet.
Okay, yes. But one who talks about the Mabate thieves, Biabashiza and the judiciary will hold you very firmly than the one they're talking about. So what did you want as a state? What did you want? You have put up institutions to fight corruption. Media is called the fourth estate. It is the state link that is going to help you to actually expose what you have set out to do. You've set out anti-corruption units to fight corruption. Media helps you to expose because you're not there. Journalists are always everywhere. I have collaborators and spies in every agency of government and in the public domain. Even the person you work with, that cleaner, I speak to them. When there is something of importance, they will communicate in a way that you will not understand. And you don't generally have to be a journalist to give me information. No, what you do is you tell me what is happening there. It is a hint that you're giving me. It's a tip. Then it will be me now to use that tip.
You are the eye of the other states.
Come and investigate. When we do that job, we become enemies. Instead of becoming friends of the state, we become enemies. What do you want? What do you want? So the dilemma that the digital fraternity is going through is regrettable. And it is uncalled for.
Why don't you just say it's unacceptable?
When I say it's uncalled for, it means it's unacceptable. It's another way of crafting English terminologies. Comrade Ochieno, you have the power to arrest anybody, anybody, but there are procedures that you must follow. When you don't follow those procedures, you're not different from the suspect you are arresting, because you are arresting the suspect, suspecting him to have committed a crime. So you're trying to put him into a correct lane, isn't it? But even before you put him in a correct lane, you are already in the wrong lane. You yourself. That's what it means. If you think I am wrong, you are right. Instead of pulling me from the wrong side to the right side, even you yourself, you're seated in a wrong lane, but you're saying you are wrong. You are seated in the middle of the road. You are saying I'm riding on a wrong lane. But what about you who is seated on a wrong lane? You are seated, not even moving. So
tell me again, my brother. What did the digital do?
Who knows? They simply came on Sunday. This Arnold was from Metro FM talking about the Computer Misuse Act. From there, they just ransacked him and took him. Then they started looking for his boss, Arnold.
And Computer Misuse Act has got implications not only to the questions of freedom of speech, but questions of information dissemination. And not only is it the case, but because it is really inherently your area, the journalism, and particularly the area in which you preside, computer use and misuse is everything around what you do.
That's why it concerns all of us.
How would you be doubly concerned? Because it means permanently that the part of the industry in which you preside as president permanently they're on the run looking behind. So nobody knows what they're writing or not writing, saying or not saying, sharing or not sharing, and the implications.
So, as a leader in the media fraternity, I would like to urge government, security operatives, that please, you are making all this fuss to demonstrate and show as if the fortress of the media is your enemy. Yet actually this government, right from the days of the Bush, has actually benefited from the press. Even when they were in the bush, Museveni made sure, as much as he could and his people, they made sure that the world gets to know what they stand for and what they are doing in the bush. That's why one of the most important figures in that war were this William Boyd, I think it was John Nagenda,
Henry Gombia.
Very good. You know them. They guarded them jealously. They would move with them. BBC journalists, VOA, Radio France International, Radio Deutsche Welle, at that time.
Using local propagandists in Gabo, the newspaper in Gabo, then there was Muno, Uganda local publication, many of which used to publish things that they could not.
They even made sure that those international media houses had the feeders or fillers from the local journalists here. So this is the William Picks, the William Gombe, the Gombians we're talking about. they were actually the direct suppliers of information to the world media. It means that right from the onset, media contributed to the victory of the NRA. President Museveni acknowledges this. Now,
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
I don't understand why after 40 years, you now want to turn around and take media as your enemy.
Is there something going wrong perhaps? And now they realize that, well, this media we used them, they can be lethal. Is that the case? Are you guys failing? I know Mr. Museveni the other day said after meeting World Bank guys that World Bank guys are now become like Christians. And then Mr. Museveni worked with World Bank guys to sell off all the things that UPC built for this country. Solar railway, solar bank, solar.
Everything you talk about, you're bringing UPC.
No, because UPC is the reality. You know, just like NRA, except UPC will outlive NRA. So, is it the case that after realizing these failures, you think that the Normans, the Irumbas are going to expose the fraud? I think what Mr. Irumba is saying is that, look, we've been partners. Number one, media in principle. Number two, a certain section of the media. But whatever the case, the role of the media is to be out there, to be the enabler for the other estates. The executive, the judiciary, the legislature, and the citizenship.
For me,
and their job is just to do that and let the rest of the other states, especially
for
the
me,
citizenship,
Mr. Ochieno,
decide.
I don't understand how the government of Uganda is turning around things the other way around. That a person you worked with right from your Bush days, now you are looking at him the way you, even worse than the way you look at Kony. The way they look at Kony. I don't understand.
Kony meaning Joseph Kony?
Joseph Kony. Because why would you, for instance, simply come...
Have you finished shooting?
But I have more. I'll just finish this one. Why would you come and simply abduct a journalist? If there is anything you want him to answer, it's very good you even know his address. You know his office, you've been there, and you know his home, you visited him. Why do you summon him? What's wrong with summoning him? Summon him to see ID Kiburi. He comes up. They used to do these things. They used to do them.
It's not that,
Now
it's not that they used to do
modus operandi has changed. We used to be someone that came every now and then. And you'd go and face officers seated like this. He takes a statement from you. If he wants, he gives you a bond. If he doesn't want, he sends you to an attached police station. You sleep there. Yes, until they produce in court. But now, these things are changing.
Why?
I don't know. That even the simplest of things, Mr. Ochieno, what does it take for a police officer to summon you or me? It's a stroke of a pen. You get it? They don't want to do that. Then tomorrow, how do you want to blame other people for not following the law? You are not following the law. You are the law enforcement officer. You are not following it. But you want society to follow the law. That's why there is a very big decadence in our society.
I think one of the things you're saying is that if the state thinks, the NRA state that is,
that by behaving arbitrarily, that by behaving arrogantly, and by applying these extreme excesses of impunity, they're possibly applying intimidation and doubling fear on the population. I won't advise that that is wrong. It's not only wrong, but it's also risky. I think in part of what Andrew was saying was that the more you do that, the longer you do that, the more you entrench a pot of hate, a pot of quote resistance, like water, you giving alternative spaces for resistance. That if I can't act civilly, I still have to express myself. People begin to think about other ways, and so people go into criminality. People seek non-formal options, and we don't want that. I have many times advised my friends in NRA that some of the work I personally do, people think is opposition per se, but teaching. Some of the work I do is also about steaming off. So allow me to vent off, without getting crazy, because you don't like to deal with crazy minds, and it's an important message. But number two, Ed was coming and will be celebrating or marking the other year of Amin's departure, 47th year. Nobody thought Amin would go. I was at a funeral, it was last week, of a colonel who died in exile in Zambia. Went with military boat at the time, come from Tororo. And part of the conversation was about how people run and escape and left families. This guy was somebody who was an engineer. He was a Chambogo trained engineer. 1979 came. They joined the Liberation Forces, like many volunteer veterans went. And by the many people got caught up in that. I don't know, this is a story for you. Just like in NRA, some of these crude NRA boys would have done that. No, because some of them, I'm saying some of the crude NRA boys. Some people, because...
Crude is a very strong word, Mr. Chairman.
No, the person who's handling this, whatever you're discussing, is behaving very crudely. And this is going to be safe, my friend. So people, NRA turns out in Chejo. Young people get excited. They show you the enemy is there. They carry for you your equipment. One of them offers to drive you the other place. You sleep overnight. Because this is what happens in this whole situation. Some of them give you girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. Go and do drinks for you, where to sleep, build relationships. Some of them then begin to become like mini spies. Some of them begin to like your uniform. Some of them want to look at you, but they want to. So that's how people join organizations. So even over NRA, a number of people joined NRA like that out of excitement and out of acclimatization. But you see, so you've got to relate a some relation. Likewise, 79, particularly when after Amin fell. Because Amin was far worse. Ugandans were massively excited. So many people joined NRA, political, military, and others in the name of serving their country, got started there. So some of these people did that. These things have got consequences. People do that, and the following week, you've got a complete change. But one person who had been a soldier in the Minsk regime joined hands with a few other serving officers plus volunteers, and they liberated Tororo. So Tororo was not liberated by Tanzanian forces; it was liberated by indigenous Tororians. So then these guys basically just came and joined, and then they moved on to continue.
But apparently this particular guy, I think after a year, all of them handed over their weapons, things like that, former soldiers. Then they were rearrested. And the guy feels quite upset that, we were merely in the Means army, we were merely in the army as professionals. We actually liberated Tororo. After things go stable, then we handed in our weapons, and then we arrested and served time in Muzira simply for being former officers.
Even you were arrested?
No, this is the guy talking. Now, I can understand what the government at the time was doing, because you need to get this case, pick them and rehabilitate them. And other guys did this, some of them wasting our money in time to reorientate people. So that happens. But some of these people, when you get them before you're able to establish what they are, some of them were good to. But this guy was annoyed. But the point is, the impact, the social impact of these changes is huge. But to the point I'm making is, this individual was saying the other day in Toro last week, that for them who had been in the army, but they were merely professional officers. They were not at risk with the citizens or anything else. In fact, right now, that guy is serving as one of the longest serving NRALC officers, NRA officials. So even after that thing, they came out, got his time, went to do their work, then the bunch came from the bushes, wherever, joined wherever. So they're there, they were not citizens. Why? He was merely a professional army officer. I hope he's also a professional NRA supporter rather than anything else. So the life should not put at risk. So what we do have got consequences. So the people who are behaving like this should not think that the table cannot turn in this country in 10, 20 years' time.
You are now trying to threaten.
No,
so to intimidate.
No, I'm putting context.
You're trying to intimidate, but General Moses is unintimidatable. The man has even promised to attack Iran.
Is it Mohozi? I did not
He's the CDF.
No, I did not see Mohozi in that vehicle.
He's the CDF.
Okay.
The people who have arrested the journalists are security people. And all the security agents in Uganda are under the command and control of number one, the Commander-in-Chief, CIC.
Mohozi's father?
Yes. The second in the line now is the Chief of Defense Forces.
So
those two people.
So those two people you're saying, young Mr. Mohozi, this guy, together with his father, are responsible for this mess we're talking about.
If you're in charge of the army and your army officers have served ice cream to the populace, it is obvious that that ice cream has come from you.
Moses' dad said that his NRA will not be an army that does whatever to the people. It's going to be a people's army.
Okay, no problem. But sometimes history repeats itself, but there are people who don't read history, so you will never know that actually it has repeated itself. That's the bad thing.
I've been in
If we learn from our history, if Uganda, the 50 million people, all of us were able to learn from our history, we wouldn't be doing what we are doing today. And the people who made even the Constitution 1994, 1995 Constitution, they were very wise people. They started with
Were they?
very wise people, extremely. They were
Very wise, but not extremely.
They were extremely wise people.
No, very wise, but not extremely.
Very extremely wise people. This is the word for me. These people started with a preamble. That even if you don't know how to conceptualize certain narratives, or you are a lazy reader, and you don't read the rest of the Constitution, but if you just read that preamble, if you are an intellectual, you will pick what is inside. And only by following that, you can know how you must behave. That preamble of the Constitution tells it all. The rest, here and there, because these things are amendable. Every article in this Constitution almost has been amended. The preamble has never been. Are you aware? Nobody has ever attempted even to amend the preamble. But all the other things inside, every day, they say it's not a cast in the stone.
I think we should amend that preamble.
To what?
Because it was a manipulative
Preamble. Message.
it was a manipulative blackmail. But we, the people, whatever about our history, chalking people's minds about history, some of the history which was exaggerated as bad. Here now, you know what I'm trying to say. So then,
So you're saying the history was not bad because UPC was involved in that history. And when we are reading that preamble, we are envisaging UPC and Amin's time. We are envisaging all those. So for you want to say it was not bad. We were in bad times.
do you know what I call manipulative
Maneuvers.
yeah, blackmail? Because the idea about that was to shake people. I'm making a point. That we the people, anybody who reads that should say, it was so bad, we should be living better, but are we?
No, that's where.
But since you're taking me to what you mean, what you also don't know is that by 1995, at the time of that constitution, NRA had ruled for 9 years.
From 85.
Yes, from 1995, yeah, in fact, yeah. Because the
Actually,
the tailors,
it's
yeah.
about 10 years.
Yes.
10 years.
So the history was they were also part of that terrible history, number one. Number two, they had very bad history in Luweero. So there had been about 14 years of very terrible history of NRA. Number three, NRA leader had also been a minister in the interim administration, including Minister for Defense, including the man in charge when they were beating people. The incubator of Pandagari in Uganda.
Incubator?
Yes. Incubator and designer and creator of Pandagari. Mr. Museveni as Minister of Defense.
He was the incubator?
The first Pandagari, when was against young people in Kampala City Square, no lule, no work. That was the first Pandagari in this country. And who was the lead chief of that, Minister for Defense, under UNLF, Comrade Gov't. So, you think the past in 1985 basically meant Obote and UPC and Amin only? No. We've been in all these things together. That's why you're right. That's today, in 2026. And in this week of Easter, we should all come together, heal, apologize, pray to Bwana Jesus, pray to Bwana Muhammad, pray to anybody, including those people who go to the Kadaga shrines or whatever. Pray to your gods, and we come together as a nation so that we're able to rebuild this country together. None of us has been perfect. It's either me or my grandparents. We've been involved in one or two things which may not have been very nice to God or to our neighbors. And to friends in NRA, we are saying that this is an important time to reflect. Norman, as it happens, he says he's the son of the longest serving NRA sergeant. That Norman's dad, first of all, Norman.
Actually, I saw him last night speaking. He started, even the NRA phoned him a soldier. The NRA phoned him already a soldier because he was in. I saw he was in UNLA. Yeah.
Yes.
Then he crossed. Actually, he says his rank was given to him by the first recruiter, the UNLF.
Also, he never got even a single promotion from NRA.
He has been a sergeant.
He's been a sergeant.
No man maybe has been telling me that his father is the longest sergeant serving officer. Sergeant.
So Norman suffers the trauma, you're a little child, your father's busy being taught how to break people's necks in the world for nothing, and then you think they're serving the nation, and then he comes, he does not get promotion, then you come now, you're the son of that, instead of being the produce of NRA, other people are benefiting, other people are skipping ranks, other people are getting, going to, also things. No man must be really underpaid. So, I believe that whatever happens, whoever is responsible for causing intimidation around this media network and the individuals concerned should release. These are predominantly young people who are very innocently doing their work. But in any case, as you say, if Norman and his team are out there doing things that we don't know, because I don't know anything about these guys other than they invite me and I go and talk and I leave. If they're up to anything, that security knows. Follow the right process.
Present them
and
for
particularly if it's anything to do with the national security, we shall support you, we shall defend you. We shall support you, we shall be along with you and do it. But if not, please, let these guys learn to grow in a free Uganda so that tomorrow, they don't say that NRA was worse than the UPC, but certainly that NRA was worse than Idi Amin. That would be a very terrible marks to be associated with anybody, that any regime was worse than that of Idi Amin. It would be terrible.
Comrade Joseph Ochieno, there is an imminent sovereignty bill being presented in Parliament.
What is that bill?
Sovereignty bill right now, it's going to act on you who went to exile and started spreading propaganda against your country, against your motherland. Now, once you do that, leaving Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, evergreen, your motherland, you go out. Instead of promoting the good things about Uganda, Uganda has the freshest waters in the world, Lake Victoria.
Which now has been polluted.
Uganda has the best climate in the world. Uganda has the best people, hospitable people in the world.
But
Uganda is gifted by nature. Uganda is democratic because leaders are sieving the filter, are filtered every 5 years. Every 5 years, a Ugandan is given a ballot, a blank ballot, given a pen. Go and fill in whom you want to lead you. Every 5 years, Uganda is democratically led. In the region, Uganda is placed as actually a central pillar for the rest of the East African region state members. That wherever there is war, Uganda will be at the front line. Congo, South Sudan, Somalia, Kenya,
Iran.
Tanzania. Now we're even stretching further to Iran. Those are positive things, traits about Uganda. Joseph Ochieno Pintek, when you go to exile and you start talking negative, the contrary of what I've just explained to you, you have committed an offense. That offense attracts a heavy penalty of up to 20 years in jail. A vivid example, now for you are back, maybe you may be safe, but when he's outside, there's nothing positive, according to the state, according to the regime, there's nothing positive, but when he's selling to the world. Everything he's selling to the world is negative. So according to
even Uganda flag.
According to the bill that is coming, that is going to be a serious crime that attracts up to 20 years in jail. That's number one. Number two, during elections, if they get to know that Bobby Wine, his source of money is from the Western powers, And they have some concessions that when they take power, they will allow LGBTQ here to thrive. I will give you this, and if they get to know that they're supposed to sell our country on account of you getting assistance from the Western powers, you are a conduit. 20 years inside. That's the deal. That is Ochieno, now they have you. You are finished.
Who? They have who?
You.
Why me?
You are in exile. You and Milton Obote, and everything you would speak would be showing as if Uganda is collapsing tomorrow. You came back here, and you found Uganda actually moving forward. So this time round, they don't want you to just come back and start enjoying your Nagongera village, enjoying your food and coffee.
Nagongera is not a village. Nagongera is a town.
Okay.
So you say I'm giving credit to Enare.
Very good. Next time the plane lands you at the Debe airport, your next destination is not Nagongera town. No, it is Rosera maximum prison. Not Machizol Bay, maximum prison. Yes.
Bambi.
They have you. You are finished. Ochieno, you are finished.
Do you know what? Shall I have right to reply?
Yes. Of course, you will be processed through the courts of law to defend yourself.
Okay. But NRA in trouble. If arresting a young innocent student on a Wednesday afternoon at Mitchell Hall in Makerere University of Kampala, a student who's never been stolen a pen, arrested by people who had brutalized people in the Wero, and some of the people who are Mabati thieves, who stolen global AIDS funds money,
Gov't funds.
The Gov't funds, is cool. Try that case. If you want to criminalize somebody who narrowly escaped his life and went and spent nearly 20 years alone, like he's coming to Easter, and Easter comes and you're between yourself and the TV in the cold room, and Christmas in the cold room for 20 years, and then I go ahead with it. So my point is, that was me. So to say that globally and publicly, you call that a crime? It's a fact. When Museveni also went ahead and did their funny crooked things and then went and hid in Sweden, it's a fact. Museveni and this family hid in Sweden. It's a fact. Just like they hid in Tanzania. It's a fact. Is that a crime? Because for me, in Sweden, by the way, there's a newspaper article about him talking whatever in 1984. And he talks as if we came to power, Uganda would turn like the Vatican. The crime, so we should take Museveni for 20 years? Especially because what he was saying was predominantly untrue. You can't verify it, justify it. Number 3. People were being tried Kandoya, 3 pieces, under the different parts of Kampala. Under NRA, Uno Mucholi, in broad daylight. Then these guys go, turn actually into the war zone. For 20 years, concentration camps. Me, Ochieno, I say that those are our people, our citizens. You want us that? Actually men raped by NRA men. Yes. Yes, on the record.
Men raping men?
Men raping men, because you're talking LGBT. These are facts under NRA. So you say those things and then you are what? 20 years, who should be doing 20 years? They should be doing 80. They should be doing 80. Just Google, actually men raped. Google, actually men raped by NRA.
Yeah, but that's not evidence enough. Because anybody can post lies on the online.
No, these are highly... Okay, but I'm telling you, so Mukura massacre, Museveni the other day apologized, those are wrong elements, so did it. So these are the things we talk about, and we talked about. And then I also say that NRA was so cowardly, they banned the political parties. And we campaigned until we got the return. And then NRA invaded Rwanda. And then NRA invaded Congo, and they plundered it together with Kagame. Those are the things we talked about. At least those are the things I talked about. And it's true I talked about those things.
Now.
So those then, but since those are then and it's no longer now, Today, what I'm just concerned about is what's happening to Norman, what's happening to my friend Sarah Bireti, what's happening to media networks that you preside over, what's happening, how a legislator, some of these ones who once upon a time had crooked legs and then is now in parliament and then he decides that they're going to raise taxes to 40% for somebody who's earning maybe a little amount of money, and yet those 40%, out of the 40% taxes that people take, is not going to go to Nagongera Health Facility, is not going to go to Nagongera Road, it's not going to go to agricultural facility, is not going to create jobs in industrial areas that you see bid for. You know, these are the concerns, the issues that we raise, and I raise. And that the other day during country, this is what you call NRS election thing. People tick, you see people ticking. Oh yeah, yes, like they did in Guaragara. There's a video doing this around Guaragara Primary School in my constituency. If those are the things that people want to glorify about Uganda, Obote thieves, these are the Gov't things, including today, and you go on and on and on. They broke our railways, they broke our buses, they broke our trains, they sold Uganda Commercial Bank, they sold all our houses. Museveni the other day is praising World Bank that they're now like Christians, but the same World Bank, they work together to sell away the banks that UPC built for this country. And now you say, oh, we are happy that they're willing to work with us to rebuild the railway. But the railway existed. Where did it go? So part of what Mr. Museveni ought to do, you know, as part of his cleansing, is to arrest the people who sold Uganda Railways. I want to know the money that was Uganda Railways was sold to. Who sold it? Where were the lawyers? In fact, I saw him very interestingly yesterday with the videos doing around that. It was actually very interesting that in part of that meeting, I saw guys from finance, but I also saw the Attorney General, which was interesting because those kind of things are called legalistic implications of the back rail. So, who were there? Who were part of the negotiations for selling Uganda Railways, Uganda Airlines, Uganda Bus Transport Company, Foods and Beverages, you know, all the Uganda Commercial Bank.
Now it's a very beautiful chunk that was next to UPC.
So, but it looks very ugly.
Very beautiful.
Looks very ugly. You know, and Crescent Towers, who sold the the current Serena and things like that. One.
Serena was built to be
No,
Serena.
No, I mean completed Serena as part of the conference center, but the whole entire hotel was an infrastructure that existed there.
I mean completed it.
Completed
so
it.
who started it?
Milton Obote's first government.
Milton Obote started it and didn't finish it.
Yes. But credit family did that and speeded it up actually because of the OA summit. So they sold all these things.
So what role did the NRM play on the Serena?
They sold it off to.
That is the role they played.
Yes, and now we want to know who authorized the selling, how much was it sold, where did the money go, what did it do? NRM, if you have courage to respond to that, come back to Ochieno and we'll have a further discussion.
Now that's the reason they want to arrest you under this new act. That's why I told you you're finished. And now this thing round you are very easy target. All those days you speak from UK and Lusaka, Zambia. Now you are here, Ochieno.
Yeah.
You are here. Your car number plate is digitized. They just put in the number plate, shows them Ochieno has parked here. You are on phone now. This iPhone. They just see the mast. They just put in. They see the mast. Ochieno is picking a network from this mast. Now from
Is
this.
that how they do it?
Hey, they just GPS. They from this mast. Then they come there. Then they see the radius. Then it shows them.
Stop scaring.
It even shows them.
Stop scaring.
It even shows them the bedroom where you.
My young guys, please make contact. We need to rebuild this country. We need to build foundations. I am your mentor. I continue to mentor yourself. Have conversation. We need to grow this country to go forward.
But then, as we finish, don't you think this is a good law to
Absolutely.
try to protect
Absolutely.
the interest of the country?
Absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Is another waste of time, another waste of resources. I completely condemn it. It's absolutely unnecessary.
If you were the president, you would allow anybody to leave Uganda outside and speak anything, even what they don't know. Any lies, anything.
No, there are laws on sedition. The laws on sedition, there are the provisions.
They are weak.
No, what do you mean by weak?
there is
who has spoken a lie about Mr. Museveni, about his regime, and they're taken by the police, taken to DPP, taken to a magistrate court, because those are magistrate court things, and then failed. And what failed? With evidence. Who? Just like, interestingly, even this so-called LGBT legislation. You know, these are intimidatory things. The then legislation that existed before the LGBT, because some of this is grandstanding, you know, to gain popularity and then to blackmail Ugandans and to cover them into silence. There was no need. If anybody was found to be involved, you know, by the equivalent of LGBT legislation, those existed even before independence. You know, the illegality of anal engagements and all this kind of stuff. You know. So no, it's a waste of time, it's diversion. And as I say, these things are grandstanding to cover up the suggested proposed theft of public money, again about the thing on taxation. Which sensible government decides to tax people and which sensible government decides to tax the cement? Which sensible government decides to tax on agricultural produce? Which sensible government? You know? And you know, most of these monies go to a few individuals with interesting tummies who then go ahead and sell for these monies to build miles and miles.
The government was not collecting taxes from Uganda.
Collected taxes from Uganda, did not borrow unnecessarily from dubious IMF and World Bank unnecessarily, did not leave you in debt. But all the money that Milton Obote's government collected from taxes are 100%. Oh Jesus, thank you. 100% accounted for. One. Number two, you can look at Milton Obote's government. You know what they did? They took railway that existed from Soroti to Lira to Gulu to Gov't, including the bridge. They extended the line. They did a proposal to extend the line from Barara to Kabale to Kisoro. In those sneaky things, the plan was there. They expanded Kampala. They built institutions. They built schools. They built hospitals. They expanded the rail networks. They built new trains. You know, they bought new buses. You know, they expanded agriculture. Every district had a district farming institute. You know, education was fully free except for primary and O-level. Primary and O-level education, which was not free, was substantially subsidized. The amount of money government was paying for subsidy for primary education is maybe 3 times more than what NRA pays today in the name of UP. And yet at the time, the subsidy for children, but scholastic materials were there, teachers were highly paid, education quality was top-notch. Can I go on?
We don't have time.
You see?
I don't have time. In 30 seconds.
My brother. Yes.
In 30 seconds.
Yes.
This service delivery shows that the people were very happy with your government. People were with you.
Yes.
How come you lost power, Ochieno?
I'll explain in 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
First time, we lost power not because people were not happy with that. First time we lost power because Israel, the Americans and CIA worked together, you know, to seek to overthrow our government because of our commitment to liberation struggle in Southern Africa, because of our commitment to liberation of Congo, supporting Lumumba's forces. So they brought in Idi Amin. They used the local turncoat, Idi Amin, and told him what is going to arrest you for killing Brigadier Okoye and for your illegal deals in Congo, you know. So before he does that, we use you to overthrow him. So the Western powers, Anglo-America and Israel, you know, that NRA now is sending, as I understand, sending brigades to gun rescue. Yeah, to gun rescue. Maybe, you know, but the payback, you know, to people who gave this country Idi Amin, who terrorized this country. That's Obote one government. That's Obote one government. So Obote one's government was to, and then building independence and also nationalizing institutions and making sure that whatever the British were exploiting in this country, we bought them back and gave them ownership to the people of this country. Now, I think Uganda should be much more angry hearing that. Obote too, the same thing. We had a huge rise in standard of living. We transformed the economy. The economy had grown at an average 6% from 1981 to 1984. In 1985 before the coup, we had a surplus of $30 million. I think I told you program the other time. For the first, at that time, in a budgetary provision. That's what that government. But then
surplus meaning you paid every other thing that was needed in the country, and you remained with a
on
balance.
the basis of that budget, yes.
And you remained with a balance with nothing to do.
Precisely.
You kept it.
We kept it. But of course, there's the Ochienos and their friends and Museveni came and don't know what happens. And you know what the deficit is doing today and how much. Now,
So those days you had surplus money. Nowadays we have deficit.
And excess deficit. And the deficit as a result of stolen money that you can't account
Okay.
for. But let me just...
Okay, government.
Let me
Obote too, how does he lose power?
That's
The
what I'm
people were with
saying.
you.
Obote too, people were very much with us. NRA bandits had been defeated and they had spread all the way to Rwenzori, and some of them had gone to Sweden. And several hundreds had already handed over themselves in Congo to the UN.
Among those who had gone to Sweden is who? Includes who?
Yeah, those many guys, and you know who. But look, so most importantly, the same forces, imperialist forces, work with the DP, work with the certain religious institution I will not mention today.
You mentioned where you hearing.
Okay, work with the DP,
No, you're coward.
work with the Catholic establishment. You really like this.
You a coward.
And then through Basil Ochieno and Bishop Kihangire, they sway Basil Ochieno, Catholic DP via Gulu, to overthrow the government. So it was a deal between NRA, DP, the Catholic establishment, plus those foreign forces, using certain individuals in UPC to be fair. So they overthrow the government. So that was not an anti-people thing. I mean, something that was coming from people. It was a group of self-interest, including some of these Ugandans who like to eat crumbs.
Last week, Professor Lenyo told me the Catholic Church, the Catholic establishment, has been playing a role in the change of government. They even helped Bob Wayne to escape to America.
That bit of it, I don't know.
You are saying that the Catholic establishment helped to overthrow your government.
Mm-hmm.
The Catholic
Yes.
establishment.
My church, I'm a Catholic, by the way.
So these things Museveni has been talking, saying that give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, stay in your lane. As religious leaders, we stay in our lane as politicians. It means it's a hoax.
It's a hypocritical, yes.
Huh?
Yes, hypocritical. It's a hypocrisy because he used them, he himself.
And on that note, my elder brother, Joseph Pintek Ochieno, the permanent spokes for Milton Obote, the idea. I want to thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you very much, and may the tea continue flowing from Rwenzori Mountain.
Let's take our tea now.
Amen.
Let's take our tea in harmony.
Thank you, sir.
You can also take your very heavy, beautiful buffet of breakfast this morning.